All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying these messages from the elders and just really enjoying Holy Week and what's going on this week in Jesus' ministry as he walks. And he just really challenges. Today, as I was reading in, Matthew 24, I realized that I've never read it like this before, maybe because just the way things are right now. I always looked at it like sometime far away in the future, maybe, I always hoped that Christ would come, but I've never really felt like the urgency that I'm reading it with now. Go watch cartoons. So, in Matthew 24, we see, he comes out of the temple and he's just challenging all these religious leaders, right? These Pharisees and these scribes, and he just gives them the business in there, and just really goes hard. You see, Jesus is not playing anymore, and he's just really, they're questioning him, but he just keeps flipping it on them. And then when he comes out of there, it's really talking about the return of Christ. And he comes out of the temple, and as he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, his disciples came to him saying, tell us, when will these things happen, and what will be the sign of the coming of the end of the age? And Jesus answered them and said, see to it that no one misleads you, for many will come in my name, and they'll be saying that I'm the Christ. And so even when he was in the temple, he was talking about false prophets and false leaders, and but here he's telling his guys again, hey, make sure nobody misleads you. So I think that's one point for us that we have to pay attention to. In times like this, there's going to be a lot of voices. And we have to be careful not to be misled. Christ is warning his guys here, and he's like, look, nobody really knows what time or when, that day's coming, not even anybody but the Father. And I just want to jump down to where it really, if you read 15, you're like, whoa, it's going to get worse. It's going to get crazy. Sure, I don't know. Like, this is Bible. This is true. Things will get really bad, especially for women who are pregnant and nursing babies. When I read that, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. But then, he goes on with the parable of the fig tree and all that. But what I really wanted to look at was verse 42, because I feel like this was something that the Lord has been saying to a lot of people. I think he gave me this word the last time I preached at the park, be ready. And I've been hearing it from different people all over the world. I think it's time to be ready. So I'm just going to read this small passage here. It says, therefore, be on the alert, for you do not know which day the Lord is coming. But be sure of this, that if the head of the household had known at what time of the night the thief was coming, he would have been alert and would not have allowed his house to be broken into. For this reason, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour when you do not think he will. Who then is the faithful and sensible slave, whom his master is put in charge of his household to give him their food at the proper time? Blessed is the slave whose master finds so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But if that evil slave in his heart says, well, my master is not coming for a long time, and begins to beat his slaves and his fellow slaves, and to eat and drink with drunkards, the master of the slave will come on the day when he does not expect him, in an hour which he does not know, and will cut him in pieces. Assign him a place with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So really like a harsh call to be ready and not to play around with sin, not to, misuse your talents, so to say, right? God has entrusted us with many things as believers, as born again believers. And we're to use those things, and we're to feed the sheep and to care for the world and to bring glory to God. But for some of us in times like this, we're just kind of idle. We're not doing anything. But you could just see God's heart here, right? How faithful he is and how he says, look, I'm giving you guys instruction. And this is like right before he's going to the cross. The next chapter says, in 2 days, the Son of Man's going to be betrayed. But He's giving his disciples instructions. Be ready, be on the alert. Look, this is when you know what's happening. When you see the abomination of desolation sitting in that place, then you know it's on, and I think those times are near. But I just love Jesus's the way he finishes. He goes hard all the way to the end and just giving his guys counsel and saying, hey man, look, this is what it's going to look like. Be ready, be ready, be ready. And so as a pastor and an elder for We Are Church, I have to tell you guys, be ready. Be ready. This isn't just like time out for us. This is time for us to prepare so that when this thing comes off, and I don't think we're going back to normal. I don't think that this virus will be around for a long time, but we're going to come off of quarantine and lockdown eventually. And when we do, there's going to be opportunities to minister and to meet needs and to care for people. This country will change dramatically. And we have to be ready. We can't live in fear. We have to know that when the day of our redemption is near, we're supposed to be lifting up our heads and saying, he's coming, not fear. So I love you guys. I hope this challenges you today as you look at Jesus' ministry.